Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've been dealing with issues in your sublimation projects, you're not alone. From faded prints to ghosting, clogged printers, and color mismatches, these problems can be frustrating. But don't worry, I'm here to help you troubleshoot and fix the most common sublimation issues so you can get results. Before we get started, make sure you visit my website, link in the description below, or search for my brand Color Vistas online for more resources. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more similar videos. Now, let's dive right in. Sublimation is an amazing craft, but it comes with a learning curve. One of the first things to understand is that sublimation ink looks dull when printed. This is completely normal. The ink only fully activates when heat is applied, so don't judge a print based on how it looks straight out of the printer. But if you're still getting faded results after pressing, there are a few reasons this might be happening. Your heat press might not be reaching the correct temperature, or you might not be using enough pressure. It's also important to check if your blank is sublimation friendly. Items like regular cotton shirts or non-coated mugs won't hold the ink properly. Always make sure your materials have a high polyester content or a polymer coating for the best results. Another common issue is banding or streaks in your prints. If you notice visible lines in your sublimation designs, it could mean your printer's print quality settings are too low. Try adjusting your settings to high quality mode. If that doesn't work, turn off bidirectional printing, which can sometimes cause misalignment in the ink application. And if the problem still persists, you might be dealing with a clogged printhead, which I'll talk about later. Now, let's talk about blurry or ghosted images. If your designs look fuzzy or doubled, there are a few possible causes. One of the biggest culprits is movement during pressing. If your transfer shifts even slightly, the ink can reapply in the wrong place, causing that shadowed effect. To fix this, make sure to secure your design with heat-resistant tape before pressing. Also, when opening your heat press, do it slowly to avoid lifting and shifting the transfer while it's still hot. If your colors don't look right, there could be a few different reasons. If you're using a converted Epson EcoTank printer, you might need an ICC profile to ensure accurate color reproduction. Without one, colors can print too red, green, or washed out compared to what you see on your screen. Also, keep in mind that colors will look different on your computer monitor than in real life. Screens display images using light, RGB, while printers use ink, CMYK, which can cause discrepancies. Another issue to watch out for is uneven transfers, where one side of your print is more vibrant than the other. This usually happens when there's uneven pressure from your heat press. If you're using a Cricut Easy Press, try applying firmer and more even pressure. But if you're serious about sublimation, I recommend investing in a traditional heat press, which provides consistent, even pressure, and helps avoid these kinds of problems. Now, let's discuss clogged printheads, one of the most frustrating problems sublimation crafters face. If your prints have missing colors, streaks, or faded areas, your printer might have a clog in the ink lines. To fix this, try running a nozzle check and a printhead cleaning cycle. If that doesn't work, printing a solid color purge file can help push the ink through and clear the clog. A common mistake many people make is cleaning the printhead too often. This actually wastes ink and can damage the printer over time. Instead, print regularly to keep the ink flowing and avoid clogs altogether. Another issue people run into is random spots or stains on their transfers. This usually happens because of dust, lint, or fingerprints on the blank before pressing. Make sure to lint roll fabric blanks and wipe down hard blanks with isopropyl alcohol to remove oils or debris. Even the smallest speck of dust can get baked into your design, so always clean your blanks before pressing. Now let's talk about pressure marks on soft substrates like shirts or tote bags. Sometimes the edges of your sublimation paper leave an impression on the fabric, creating an unwanted border around your design. To fix this, try ripping the edges of your sublimation paper instead of cutting them. This creates a softer transition between the ink and fabric, helping to blend the design more naturally. Another common mistake? Using the wrong side of sublimation paper. Most sublimation paper has a coated side and a non-coated side, and printing on the wrong side can drastically reduce the vibrancy of your design. Many sublimation papers have a watermark on the back, but if yours doesn't, a quick tip is to lightly scratch both sides with your fingernail. The correct side will have a slightly rougher texture. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is forgetting to mirror their design before printing. Since sublimation is a heat transfer process, your image needs to be flipped horizontally so that it appears correctly when pressed onto the blank. Double-check your settings before hitting print, and always do a quick visual check before pressing. Now let's talk about sublimation on tumblers and mugs. One issue that comes up often is uneven prints, fading near the edges or gaps along the seam. This usually happens when the paper isn't taped down tightly enough. For full wrap tumbler designs, be sure to apply firm pressure when wrapping the paper and use plenty of heat-resistant tape. The goal is to have 0 gaps between the paper and the surface, ensuring even ink transfer. If you're using an oven for sublimation, always rotate your tumbler halfway through for even heating. Let's not forget about sublimation paper getting stuck or leaving residue on tumblers. This can happen if the shrink wrap isn't removed immediately after pressing. As soon as you take the tumbler out of the heat press or oven, use heat-resistant gloves to peel off the shrink wrap and sublimation paper while it's still warm. This prevents the paper from fusing onto the tumbler's coating, which can be difficult to remove later. If you ever notice yellowing or scorch marks on your fabric, it's often due to excessive heat or moisture. Try lowering your press temperature slightly or pre-pressing your fabric for 5 to 10 seconds to remove any trapped moisture. For cotton polyester blends, be mindful of scorching at higher temperatures, especially if you're using a heat press with direct contact. And finally, let's talk about storage mistakes that can ruin your sublimation supplies. If you leave sublimation ink sitting for too long without printing, it can settle and cause clogs. The best way to prevent this is to print at least once a week to keep the ink flowing. Also, make sure to store sublimation paper in a dry place, as humidity can affect ink absorption and lead to faded prints. Sublimation comes with a lot of trial and error, but by following these troubleshooting tips, you'll avoid wasted blanks, reduce frustration, and get better, more consistent results. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. You can visit my website, link in the description below, or search for my brand Color Vistas online for more resources. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more similar videos. See you in the next video.